going to go into a lengthy and lavish examination of the waves of non-political offenders and common criminals. But having reached 1947, we cannot remain silent about one of the most grandiose of Stalin's decrees. We've already mentioned the famous law of 7/8, or 7/8, on the basis of which they arrested people right and left for taking a stalk of grain, a cucumber, 2 small potatoes, a chip of wood, a spool of thread, all of whom got 10 years. But the requirement of the times, as Stalin understood them, had changed, and the tenor, which had seemed adequate on the eve of a terrible war, seemed now, in the wake of a worldwide historical victory, inadequate. And so, again, in the complete disregard of the code, and totally overlooking the fact that many different articles and decrees on the subject of thefts and robberies already existed, on June 4th, 1947, a decree was issued which outdid them all. It was instantly christened 4/6 by the undismayed prisoners. The advantage of the new decree lay first of all in its newness. From the very moment it appeared, a torrent of the crimes it specified would be bound to burst forth, thereby providing an abundant wave of newly sentenced prisoners. But it offered an even greater advantage in prison terms. If a young girl sent into the fields to get a few ears of corn took along 2 friends' company, an organized gang, or some 12-year-old youngsters went after cucumbers or apples, they were liable to get 25 years in camp, 20 years in camp. In factories, the maximum sentence was raised to 25 years. This sentence, called the quarter, had been introduced a few days earlier to replace the death penalty, which had been abolished as a humane act. And then, at long last, an ancient shortcoming of the law was corrected. Previously, the only failure to make a denunciation which qualified as a crime against the state had been in connection with political offenses, but now simple failure to report the theft of state or collective farm property earned 3 years of camp or 7 years in exile. In the years immediately following the decree, whole divisions from the countryside and the cities were sent off to cultivate the islands of the GULag, in place of the natives who had died off there.